Hi guys, it's Inam4 here with the Apple iPhone 5 in white and a 16 gig model. We're going to take a look at why you shouldn't buy the iPhone 5 and why it sucks. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this video, but hey ho, let the trolling begin. So first off, I've had the iPhone for about 3 weeks now in total, so I'm going to give you my views on why you shouldn't buy it and why it actually sucks and not actually worth your money at all. Number 1, doesn't include a micro SD card. What's up with that? I know you pay for 16 gig storage, but you should have the ability to input a micro SD card slot. Most Android phones do. What's up with that, Apple? The lack of widgets is annoying because there's nothing that you put on your app screen or your home screen rather that you can keep a track of stuff that you're into or that you want to keep up to date with. I mean, the closest thing to it is a notifications bar. There's no NFC technology used on the iPhone, so you can't use cardless payments for that matter, or use NFC tags because the technology isn't there in the iPhone. I mean, what's up with that? You want to be ahead of the game, not trailing behind the game and trying to keep up with it. Most Android phones have NFC, so Apple should really be thinking outside the box and trying to step ahead of the game rather than just keep up with it. For me, the biggest annoyance is the screen. They've stretched it, made it longer. Whoopie-doo, it's a 4-inch screen. What's the point in that? It's not even HD. The resolution on this is 1136 by 640. Fair enough, it's a retina display, so you can't see the pixelation in the images or on the screen, but it's not HD. Most of its competitors, being the S3 and some other devices on Android, have HD screens. What's up with that? At least keep up with the game, Apple. Come on. As we're talking about screen resolution and the display of our phone, let's talk about the cameras. You can shoot in HD with both cameras, which is welcoming. But what do most people do when they take a photo or record a video on their phones? They play it back and look at it. And what's the point of shooting in HD when the screen on the phone doesn't support HD? The resolution is 1136 by 640 as I say, so not HD. How stupid are you? But hey ho, I'm sure Apple fans will somehow defend it. One of the features that they announced at the Apple keynote conference for the release of the phone, they mentioned the panoramic camera shot feature. Whoopie-doo-dah, give you a round of applause. Most phones have had that for months on end. I mean, the S2 had a panoramic camera shot feature. You're bringing it to the iPhone. Whoopie-doo-dah. I work with quite a few people that use Apple iPhones, and what we'll say about iOS users is, or Apple users rather, is they defend their hardware and the brand to the hilt. And no matter who I ask, I ask, why do you buy Apple products or Apple iPhones for that matter? And no one said, oh, I like the ease of use, I like the hardware, I like the software, I like the functionality, I like the features. No one said any of that. They said, I like that it's stylish, innit? I mean, you buy something just purely for the way it looks, so it's useless as everything else, but just purely for the way it looks? That's not right. I was like, okay, fair enough, I can live with that. It's your personal preference, but I would respect them more if they said, well, I like the simplicity of the operating system because I'm not a techie, so I like stuff to be simple, and that's why I like them. Which is fine, I'd respect that, not because, oh, it's stylish. Looking at the design, if they like it stylish, the new iPhone comes with chamfered edges all around. Now, I've been playing FIFA on this quite a lot, and when you're holding the phone in sort of this sort of position for well over an hour playing FIFA, the phone's corners, because they're sharp, dig into your hands. That's not very ergonomic, that's not very stylish, and that's not a good design, Apple. Surely you should make the phone ergonomic because the phone is meant to be held in your hand, not anywhere else. So make it so that it's nice and ergonomic and doesn't strain your hands. Especially as more and more people are playing mobile games on their phones, you'd expect it to be a bit more user-friendly. That's my take on the chamfered edges, at least. I'm not a big fan of those if you're a gamer. If you only use it 5 minutes here or there, just phoning people, texting, that kind of stuff, it's okay, but long periods of activity while holding it in your hands, it's not a good look at all, people. My first Apple iPhone was the 4S. Now, I was really disappointed when I first got that device, just purely because you can't set MP3 tracks as ringtones. Now, every other device, I mean, phones 10 years ago could set MP3 tones as ringtones, but Apple decided not to give you this functionality. Why, you wonder? Or if you're an iOS user, you know why. It's simply to make money, so that you can go to the iTunes store and purchase crappy ringtones like this for £1.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
That lasts only 30 seconds for £1. It's simply to make money. Now, that's not a clever user. If I'm using a device, I want more functionality. Fair enough, people are saying it's stylish, then I agree with that. It is stylish, it looks good, but the functionality isn't there. If you want to set a ringtone and you want that to be an MP3 track that you've already purchased, why should you have to go into the iTunes store and buy it again as a ringtone? You're just wasting your money. There's no point. While we're talking about the App Store, let's give Google's Play Store a mention, because on the Play Store you got a far greater number of applications which are free compared to iTunes. iTunes, you have to pay for quite a lot of the applications. Some of the applications which are free on Android, now the reasons I should mention why they're free on Android is because they have advertising on them, so which makes them free. So I happily put up with advertising on an application if I don't have to pay for it. But on iTunes, you don't even have the option for that, you just have to pay for it. And I'm not a big fan of that. On the iPhone 5, they've got rid of the 30-pin connector that was along the bottom of the 4S and introduced the lightning connector. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the 30-pin connector along the bottom of the 4S. I'm not a fan of the lightning connector on the bottom of the 5, just purely because why not introduce a micro USB port like every other phone manufacturer, so it's universal? That's because Apple wouldn't make any money out of that, now would they? So they introduce their own connectors which are stupidly priced. So if you end up buying an iPhone, you end up spraying more money on additional apps and additional hardware because only you can buy Apple. The battery on the iPhone 5 is non-removable, so once you come to the end of its charging life, you'll probably find you end up charging it all the time for not a lot of use, which is useless. And why do they do this? Again, so that Apple can make more money so you can buy a new version of their phone. Now, the build quality on Apple phones is always brilliant, and the iPhone 5 is second to none. Its build quality is really awesome. It's well made, none of it's loose. I mean, I did initially wonder if there was something loose in the device, because when I was shaking it, I was hearing like a clicking sound, but later I found that out to be just the lock or power button along the top just hitting the sides of it, nothing actually inside the phone. So it's well made. They're still using some of the same materials that they used before in terms of glass, which I'm not a big fan of, because if you drop it, you will smash it. So you've got glass along the bottom and the top of the device, with the middle part being brushed aluminium, which is okay. That's what you're paying for basically, is the materials. But not a big fan of using glass, because if I drop it, I know I will smash it. And then I'm going to need a new phone, so what's the point in that? Now, what I consider the iPhone 5 to, and what I compare it to most is, now bear with me when I give you this analogy, is I compare it to a blonde bimbo, because it's good to look at, it's even good to hold now and again, but you wouldn't want to use it on a day-to-day basis because it's useless. And with that in mind, let the trolling and the hating begin. Either way, comments down in the comment section down below there. If you're not already a subscriber, hit subscribe from the button up top there. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and you can check out some of our forthcoming videos. Thanks for watching, have a wicked day, and we'll see you next time.